I'm gonna do a separate video on this, but I wanna share my observations about the full moon coming. So we're in the month, that started March 21st. Okay, so it started with the not the sol the equinox on, I believe it was the 20th, it might have been the 21st some places. And I'm gonna talk about an energy that is in every one of these charts. It's in the new moon chart. Then after the new moon, a couple days later, Pluto went into Aquarius for the first time in 225 years on March 23rd. This is all Pacific time. Now today, not today, on April 5th at 9:34 p.m. Pacific, so April 6th on the East Coast and in Europe and other countries, the full moon happens and peaks. And so the full moon is an evolution of these energies, right? It started actually in the equinox. We had the new moon, Pluto into Aquarius, and now the full moon. So now we're at the maturation. So the full moon is like, I like to think of it as a variance analysis. Like when I was in finance, a company would say, well, we're going to earn this much. And then at the end of the quarter, we'd look at what they said they would earn, and then we compared it, and then we would track to say, "Okay, that means the year is now gonna they're now gonna earn this much." So, that's how it is energetically with the moon energy in a similar way. You start the month, with the new moon energy. During that first 2 weeks, sometimes important things happen like Pluto into Aquarius, very important. And then at the full moon, there's an adjustment. Okay, now for the rest of the month, this is gonna be highlighted or that. But what I wanna talk about is the end of victimhood, because this it is what is prominent with Pluto into Aquarius. And that's why I wanted to focus on lifting ourselves up today in the meditation. The meditation I went through is core, in my view, to lifting ourselves out of victimhood. It requires deciding to choose self-responsibility, self-focus in a way that consciously chooses the higher road, the highest path, and to the extent possible. Maybe today my highest path is to make my bed and that's it. Maybe tomorrow my highest path is that I vacuum, tidy, and everything looks wonderful. I don't know what today's gonna bring. Today, it brought me completing a live stream with you. Um, so so it's a spectrum of capability, competence, and doingness because sometimes we just need to move energy. Yesterday I woke up with a headache, and I decided then that I wasn't going to put any pressure on myself. I was going to care for myself, connect with my living soul, and be that, feel that in every part of my body, including where the pain was, until I felt better. And I gave myself time. I didn't put any pressure on myself. Within a couple of hours, that had passed. Okay, so here's what I want to tell you about the new moon energies, which continues this theme of the month. The end of victimhood is the opportunity here. We have Pluto at 0 Aquarius. We have Sedna, an asteroid, at 29 degrees of Taurus. We have Ceres, the mother, okay, at 26 degrees of Virgo. Now, at the new moon, she was at 0 of Libra, and Pluto was at 29 Capricorn, and Sedna was at 28. Okay, so now Sedna's at 29, so that's a karmic it's a karmic number, it's the maturation of the energies. So that's powerful. It's also powerful because Alcyone, fixed star, is at 0, Gemini. So Sedna has moved into less than 1 degree from Alcyone, the main star of the Pleiades. Although we would love to see this bring harmony and understanding, like that song from the age of Aquarius. I gave my first live astrology talk on Sunday, and it was so amazing. And when I brought this up and I tried to sing Age of Aquarius, everybody in the room started singing. It was so amazing. And they all sang the first few lines of Age of Aquarius. I thought it was pretty cool. But that harmony and understanding, beauty and love abounding, or however the words go, it really doesn't look like that out in the world, does it? No, it doesn't. Little did we know. Little did they know. But here's the thing, underneath it all, I feel amazing. Since Pluto's moved into Aquarius this month, I have had a vision of opportunity, of possibility, and of something new, and that's when I started doing these live streams. I feel this connection with the truth of who I am more and more, and that it is possible to live our dreams in the world. And a key to that is to choose to rise out of victimhood. So Sedna is the wounded child who was thrown overboard by her father. But yet there is more to the story. So there's a great triangle in the chart right now between Pluto, Sedna, and the mother, Ceres. She is the earth mother who controls the seasons. She's the goddess of agriculture. She is the earth mother who, when Hades um, got her daughter and took Persephone down to the underworld, Ceres went to the underworld to take her back, to go get her and bring her back up to the surface. So she lived the shadow experience. And you could say that that experience reflects the experience of going into our own shadow personality, finding the lost parts of our soul in the shadow and bringing those back up to become part of the whole of who we are again, the pure soul. And what is not of the pure soul burns off. In that process, that's Pluto. And rescuing the soul, the inner child, that's Sedna. Because what happens is Sedna drops to the depths of the ocean. And at the depths of the ocean, she stays sometimes for thousands of years. And muses. And as she's down there, eventually you get bored of your story. You get bored of the sadness. You get bored of being a victim. You get bored of blaming it on everybody else, blaming it on your dad, blaming it on your mom. And you figure out that no one's going to lift you off the ocean unless you do it yourself, off the floor of the ocean. And to do it yourself, to lift off, what does that require? The inspiration and the hope that gives you that thought that you can lift yourself back up is the divine within you, is the living connection of the soul, which we just meditated with, which we just called into living being in the human body in our meditation. When that lights, that hope comes, that inspiration comes, it's like an idea has come to us suddenly. It's like a feeling, a sense, and we know somehow that all is well. And we use that lift to rise ourselves back up, right, from the depths. And we claim back the peace of our soul, right? It finds us. First, God finds us at the bottom of the ocean. And we find ourselves by making the choice to allow the connection with the creator, with divinity, with your own soul that allows us to rise back up. And that is when victimhood ends. As we're rising back up, we could choose to go back down. Every time you find the victim story coming out of your mouth now, every time you find it in your thoughts, I invite you to know that the energies support us with this triangle, this trine, lifting back up, because these are the energies present at the equinox. Okay, that's for the next 6 months. These are the energies present for the new moon. That's the current month through April 21st or April 20th. That's the energy for this new year month, because this month is considered the new year by certain ways of calculation. So this is sets the energy for the year. This is considered a start of the age of Aquarius. This is the start of a 20-year cycle. This is one of the most powerful times in our lives to be alive. Okay? If you're alive now, what a gift. There have been human beings that waited for decades for this moment, that sang the songs. And that waited for 40 years. And I'm not one of them. But I'm very close with some of you. And I can I can feel that not everyone made it. Not everyone made it, but they knew it would come. And that's the power of knowing that we talked about in the meditation. And it's possible now to do it in this lifetime because we move past 2012, the end of the calendar, the end of the Mayan calendar for the dark energy, the end of the reign of darkness, 2012. That's why the world ended in 2012. The dark world ended. Okay. And so now we're in this period where we get to recover ourselves. And that's what this, triangle means, right? It means the end of victimhood. And you see Pluto in a trine with Ceres and Sedna. We don't normally think of Pluto as a positive. And I was talking to a friend of mine um, last night when we ran into each other, and we're both energy healers, energy people. And I was saying to him, "Can you believe this? Like I feel amazing, like in my heart. We were told all this scary stuff about Pluto and Aquarius, and is there scary news? Yes, I admit it, okay? There's scary news. Just because there's a wonderful and beautiful seed of possibility doesn't mean that it's gonna be really hard as that seed cracks out of the shell, pushes through the dirt, comes out of the soil and raises its face to God, to the sun, right? The representation of the soul in the sky, the representation of the living flame of divinity in the sky. All right. So it doesn't mean that that connection with God or the feeling of that in your heart makes things easier. It doesn't mean that this trine immediately lifts us out of victimhood. We have to do the work of the spirit. This is the spiritual warrior's work. So I'll have another video on this, and this is what I really focused my talk on. And what I want to say to you is that in these energies, how do we know what the next step is? We know because we receive it in prayer. We know because we receive it in meditation. We know because we've done the energy work, the work of the spiritual warrior to connect within, get to that place of calm and stillness where the living flame of the living soul lights our way. Thank you, friends.